I'm thinking he's back. Baba Yaga returns for a fourth and final question mark chapter in the saga. It's none other than John Wick. Put some respect on his name. He's here to smooch pooches and kick ass. And he's all out of pooches.
Oh,
And we're here for all the smoke or all the people getting hit by cars. My goodness. As always, my name is Juan, here with Mark
yeah.
and Kevin.
Yeah.
And we.
Hey, yours is better.
That is a good Keanu Reeves impression, man. And we like movies. Make sure that you never miss an episode by
Oh, wow.
thank you, by hitting that subscribe button, whether you are on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or anywhere that you consume awesome podcasts. Also, please do comment and let us know your thoughts on the films that we review and on the show, as this truly makes our day. So show us some love. I need it. I'm lonely and poor. We We appreciate you for listening and making us the best podcast about film produced by us. It's an
Yeah.
honor. But
I
all
need
right,
some applause there too, man.
we are here for one reason and one reason only. It's Keanu Reeves. It's John Wick. It's Chapter 4. Let's go. The IMDb synopsis says John Wick uncovers a path to defeating the High Table. But before he can earn his freedom, Wick must face off against a new enemy with powerful alliances across the globe and forces that turn old friends into foes. The new enemy is the Marquise, played by Bill Skarsgard. The old friend is Kane, played by Donnie Yen. But Wick also squares off against the Tracker, or Mr. Nobody, played by Shamier Anderson, the Elder, George Giorgio, and the Whale, Killa, played by Scott Adkins. The path to defeating the High Table is to rejoin a family and challenge the Marquise to a duel, a stipulation that is honored by the High Table. This quest leads Wick to the Middle East, New York, Germany, and lastly, Paris, France, on a testosterone addled bullet fest, punch fest, action packed, colorful, beautiful, epic adventure. Chad Stahelski, who else, is back at the helm as director. The film is written by Shay Hatton and Michael Finch and stars Keanu Reeves, Laurence Fishburne, Ian McShane, Bill Skarsgård, Donnie Yen, Hiroyuki Sanada, and more. It is produced by Summit Entertainment, Thunder Road Films, and 8711 Productions, and distributed by Lionsgate. It was released on March 24th, 2023, with a runtime of 2 hours and 49 minutes, and it cost around $100 million to make, not counting marketing. It currently, at the time of this writing at least, sits at a 95% score for critics and audiences on Rotten Tomatoes, and its tagline is Baba Yaga. Kevin, this was technically your pick. So, can you start off by telling us why you picked this and giving us your initial thoughts?
First of all, 1, 2, and 3, I thought were all great. My children are huge fans of this series, and I was going to take them to see it on opening weekend. I loved it. I didn't think it was long. I thought it went by quick. We couldn't get enough of people getting thrown into cars. And yeah, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wanted more. There's a lot to unpack about what we were seeing there, and yeah, it was a nice family outing for us.
John Wick for Baba Yaga, a nice family outing. Oh man, that's pretty good.
So
Um,
I guess we got
uh,
your take. We got sorry, Mark, but since it was a family outing, and since the girls are such huge fans, we know you enjoyed it.
Oh,
Give us what did they
oh.
think?
I tell you, the theater for the climax of the movie, the duel. Spoiler alert, by the way, if y'all listening. But for the climax, it was all quiet, and when John Wick shot him, there was literally yes and fist pumping from my girls. Like you just heard it throughout the whole. Like it was all quiet. All you heard these little girls go, "Yes, got him!" I was like, awesome.
Headshot.
Yeah, they loved it. Like, they
oh,
wanted to
man.
watch it again, but I was like, I'm not paying. We'll watch it when it comes on digital.
That's pretty good. That is very funny. Um, I I had a very good time with this movie. There were times where I did not know uh, what was happening because I've realized I am getting deaf at my old age, and so all the speaking just sounds muffled. And so while the action sounds amazing, when the story is being progressed through dialogue, I'm just kind of like I can't hear what they say, and I'm really missing those subtitles, man. Those captions, I need them. Um, but it's John Wick, so you don't really need that much of a story to know what's going to happen and what's going on, and still enjoy it.
Correct. Um, yeah. So for me, again, I also love the movie. I'm not sure if I've stated before on the podcast or just in conversation with you guys, but I was definitely a late comer to the series. Um, just always kind of wrote it off as kind of just being senseless, pointless action.
Yeah.
But I guess I um, underrated how much I enjoy senseless, pointless action. But
Sometimes
no,
it's nice.
yeah, no, it's just really well done, and especially how the series has evolved from the beginning, how it really, um, uh, I mean, I just think I don't think this series would, and we can talk about this, but I don't know that this series would have worked with anyone but Keanu Reeves because it's partly because he's such a nice guy. Just in real life that root for him even as he's going around murdering everyone in sight. Of course, in this world, everyone just happens to be an assassin. um but and there's some crazy things about just the film series, um like he's when they're having shootouts in clubs and nobody's bothered, everyone just is just
So
dancing like,
busy.
oh, okay. you know um but it's just so much fun. Keanu is such a protagonist to get behind and root for, also because you understand the mission that he's on, even as it changes throughout. But whether he's out for vengeance or just trying to escape this life that he has found himself in, and all the characters that you meet throughout, it was just awesome. I felt like this was a really excellent bookend. If it is the end, if it is the closure to John Wick's story, which is a maybe. I mean, the film made so much money that there's definitely talks on the table of, can we do this again, whatever. Hopefully, I'm not for that. I hope that this is might be the end,
Right.
um, because it was just a good ending. I'm okay with side stories and deviations and more of that. Like, I'm fine with that. But but I think that this should be his last chapter at least. I really felt like they went out with a bang. They let it all hang out. They left it all on the high table. Um, and I don't know how many more cliches I can use, but I was impressed because it's got to be a very daunting task to satisfy the insatiable thirst of a loyal and passionate fan base like the John Wick film franchise has accrued. Um, but that like audiences today and our short attention spans and our eagerness to go into rage and criticism, you know, so it's an audience that is ready to turn on you at the first hint of you not delivering. But Stahelski and Co., they hedged their bets by cranking this up to 11. And still, they kept the story simple and just doubled down on their bread and butter, which is, choreographing, staging, lighting some of the most exciting action sequences ever produced at this mainstream level. I thought the new characters worked really well, although again, the I was slightly confused by Mr. Nobody, how they kept referring to him, or the tracker. I mean, he was cool, but like, who was he? um, and and I felt that this delivered and is now takes the number two spot in my ranking of the four movies.
Oh wow! And what's can you tell me what number one is?
Yeah, number one is the first one.
Mm.
Number two is four. Number three is three, and number two is four.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Kevin, you agree?
Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I love this one a lot, and one is the best though.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So, I mean, just to get it out of the way, uh, what would be the reason for having another one? Like, what angle could they possibly go?
Money.
They've no. Besides real life. No, I mean like the story. Are they gonna pull the old trope of obviously this is a spoiler, but that he didn't die? I mean, well, yawn, I guess. Is that gonna be cool?
Well,
yeah. That's the talk that I'm hearing is that okay. So this is a recent movie, so let's just give the warning. I mean, I think we already said it, and this movie's made so much money that almost everyone has seen it. But if you haven't seen it, and you want to spare yourself knowing what's going to happen or spoilers or not being surprised by anything, pause or shut us off and come back
Man, we've
later.
already ruined that.
but
But
spoiler what potentially happened.
yeah,
Uh,
but yes, what
any
they're
more
saying
we
is
can
that
spoil this.
you never. I mean, how much more dead can a person become? Like you see him bleed
Falling
out,
over.
you see him fall over, you see them burying him.
He becomes John Wick of the ethereal world.
He joins the rest in peace police department.
Uh,
What it is
yeah,
like what they're saying is like that funeral, like maybe he healed up and he's like he gets to have his peaceful life. And the idea of John Wick is dead now, so bounty hunters aren't coming after him.
But bro, I mean, the thing too is like, you don't know everyone that's in the high table. Like the world just kept growing and growing it while at the same time becoming in some cases more mysterious. So, there's always some new bad guy. There's always something that they can create. Eventually it's gonna get old and they'll jump the shark. That's why they shouldn't do that. But this film also introduced some great side characters that I think is more likely a direction that they'll go in. I do want to mention though, since you brought that up, One of the new features that I'm going to be adding to the podcast episodes moving forward
All right.
is I'm going to be in the description. I'm going to be adding links to like YouTube videos and things that I come across, or that you guys come across as well. That I just think are cool little bonuses that people can check out. One of them that I found for this one is a really fun video of Keanu Reeves and Chad Stahelski, um, kind of addressing various fan theories that they found on the internet.
All right. Very nice.
So look for that link in the description.
You need a new idea song or something.
Theme music.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Oh, I like that.
So, Mark, let's go
Set.
with you. What were some of the things that stuck out to you in the movie? Some of your
The
favorite moments.
the biggest thing for me, which I found just incredible, was that every single scene, the background was incredible. Like there was something happening in the background. There was always an active, vibrant background. And so you have this story progressing, and if you watched in the background, you see other things happening too. And it was just sometimes it's just bright lights and the coloring that they did, and other things. It's like you see these little side things happening in the background. It was incredible, and I was impressed how it stayed that way the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah. It is just a maybe not to be overly romantic and say it's beautiful, but it is a very pretty film.
Hmm.
Again, a lot of the stuff that they did with the lighting when they were in it was Osaka, right, in Japan, where that
Yeah.
hotel, where the Continental was. It was in Osaka. um, some of the stuff in there, that one, if you guys remember, it was very noticeable, so you should. But when it turned into kind of like that overhead tracking shot, when he was also using those what did they call them, like those rounds that would like ignite when they
Oh yeah.
hit the target.
Yeah, the
Cinderella
incendiary.
shotgun.
Yeah, but you remember where he was going through room to room in that building, and it was overhead and it was tracking, like it was incredible. That sequence was awesome.
Yeah, it felt like a video game.
Yeah, it was. I think. Well, let me see here. I Yeah, I think. Oh, okay. Uh, yeah. No, it's not a video game, but it's a fun fact. That's why I didn't want to go into it yet, but
Ooh.
I have
Oh,
something
okay.
about
Dang.
what inspired that shot.
Oh, I almost hit some. Okay,
Yeah.
I feel you.
Almost got him.
And then of course, the the scene in Paris, in front of the Arc de Triomphe, um,
Triumph.
with the cars,
Let the bodies hit the
dude.
car. Let the
It
bodies hit the
was
car.
freaking awesome. First, I mean, he like slammed his car into a guy first when he was driving it. And then also someone did point out, like they asked if in between movies, if John Wick had an exoskeleton put into him to survive all the things that he
That's
survived.
that's a
You know,
great question.
leading up to that Arch of Triumph scene, like I'm sitting next to Phoenix and she's just going 1, 2. I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, he's got hit by 3 cars so far. And she's like going 4, and he falls. She goes, that counts 5. And she counts. She's like, she got up to 8. Like they're 5. She goes, that one counts too. 8. I'm like, John Wick got hit by 8 cars.
This guy's amazing. But it's like a video game.
It made me less fearful of getting hit by a car.
Oh my gosh. Don't say that, please.
Mission accomplished. That was the point of the movie.
Hey man, I got a good chance of surviving it.
Ah, man, that's pretty good. So, what did you like, Juan? What give me
Well,
some that pointed out that stood out to you?
yeah, like I said, I loved those scenes that I mentioned. Also, the fight with in the club with Killa. Because boy, I know he's not really that big. He was in a fat suit, but just the character. If it was a character, I was like, oh man, look at that hefty boy move. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That
And
dude's fun.
then the finale was great. Not only the duel, but even just that stairwell. Is it a stairwell or is it a staircase?
It was a staircase.
That's a staircase.
Yeah.
What's a stairwell?
It would have walls up on the side of it.
Oh, look at that! Kevin's just a world of knowledge.
Spirals up
What's a stairmaster?
That's a
to
machine.
lose weight.
Yeah.
I know.
Big bad void.
But yeah, so the staircase scene was incredible. Um, I I don't know. I would like to see a behind the scenes of him rolling down those stairs.
That's great. He went halfway and then they threw him the rest. I'm like, ooh.
And then I mean, so what happened? And like the person that then intervened to help him get up those steps. First, I'm not really sure he made it in time still, but I guess the sun came up. But it took him longer than the 2 or 3 minutes that he needed, I think. But
But even the dialogue when Kane showed up, he's like, "Hey, John,
yeah,
I'm gonna need you to get up them steps."
yeah. He would. What did you think of the great Donnie Yen? Is he an actor that you recognize? Have you seen him in other stuff? And how do you think he fit into the world of John Wick?
It was fantastic. I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
that's it, man. Yeah, I mean, I know about Donnie Yen. He is well known.
If you watch them Korean Asian movies, you know Donnie.
He's Chinese.
I know, but he's in all those Asian type movies.
Oh, okay. Chinese movies.
Yeah.
He what was it? So apparently there's even, and I wonder, there's two videos that I'm gonna link to, but the second one, no, it's not the second one. It might have been in that first one, or I think it was another interview that I saw with Chad Stahelski, where he was even talking about like even the way some of the characters, the way that they address and relate to John Wick, always gives away sort of like the proximity to him or the relationship that they have to him. So like, whether they call him John, whether I think what's his name from the hotel?
Winston?
Ian McShane. Yeah, Winston, I think, is the only one that calls him Jonathan. Yeah, others it's like Mr. Wick. And so there's even kind of something cool that they do there where it's a subtle way in which it kind of reveals who his allies are and who he's kind of closest to, and just the relation that he has with individuals based off how they know him and how they've interacted with him.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest. I realized while watching this movie that I've never seen the second or third one.
Oh wow.
I went from 1 to 4.
You should watch
So-
him. Kevin's got him on Vudu.
Yeah.
Apparently, I've seen the best to second best.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you should. So, do you feel like when you watched the fourth one, did you feel like there were things that you were out of the loop on, and did you feel lost?
Yes, incredibly, and that's why I was laughing about the exoskeleton comment because every time like he was getting shot at, he would lift up his arm and his jacket would like kind of come down.
Oh,
I really thought he had like a shield there, and he would just deflect bullets because this dude got shot so many times, but
oh,
nothing penetrated him because he had that arm up. So I just was like, okay, I guess he has that.
oh.
Maybe that happens. So it was kind of confusing at first.
Yeah, he had that suit's bulletproof.
Yeah, his suit is like lined with what is it?
Is it
Kevlar?
Kevlar? Is it
Kevlar,
Kevlar?
yeah.
Yeah. They
Is
explained
that?
it in, I think, the second one or something.
I was gonna say if they explained that in the first, I just don't remember that. But yeah, so that was it was kind of interesting to watch. But then once they went to the overhead scene, I went, "Oh, they're just really embracing video games." I mean, that's what this feels like. Like he's getting shot up, not enough to die, but like slow you down and you lose some health, and so like he takes a break. Oh, now he got his health back, and that's just kind of what it felt like. So it I don't know, it worked out because it was just so outlandish and it just played with the whole movie.
Hmm. Um, yeah.
I mean, there was points where there was like the big guys. They would take like 7 or 8 bullets, and they're still coming at you. I'm like, oh, these are like mini bosses. Because dude, I was just like, how are these guys taking so many bullets and still going? And again, it just felt to the movie because, I mean, it's just it feels like a video game.
Yeah.
Like, the one thing I kept in mind while watching it, because I read about it, like when they didn't know what to do for the sequel for part two because they didn't plan for it, and they said when they cracked it was when they realized that it could, they could link it to like Greek mythology and that there's a whole other world like just beyond our world that these people live in. So even when I was watching, I was just relating everything to like, oh, it's like almost like Greek mythology, which just were early superheroes basically.
Hmm.
Yeah. Greek mythology. Also, Chad Stahelski said that because one of the things that stuck out to me, particularly with the fourth one, although it's present throughout all of them, is there's a lot of kind of like religious undertones, and like even in this one with the second to last scene, he's walking down those steps and lays down, and all this is happening like in front of this cathedral. So there's all these kinds of like symbols and yeah, mythology or um types of like very sort of yeah, it felt like religious kind of tones, which is very interesting. And so there was, oh, someone said there, one of the theories in the video, I guess I'm going to give it away, but like one of the theories that a fan threw out there was that John Wick is like Dante in Dante's Inferno, like going through the levels of hell, which is not the case, but there are, but Stahelski did um, admit that there are a lot of sort of references to that work of literature and
Yeah,
a lot of those ideas sort of in the movie, in the franchise. Um,
I gotta yeah. So I really I gotta see the second and third then. Huh?
oh yeah, no doubt,
Opa show.
for sure.
So I realize the reason why I haven't seen the second or third one is because I don't really I guess this is like too real life violence for me. Um I just I if these were like giant cat people and it was all the same movie, but it was just cat people, I'd be like, "Oh man, that this movie is awesome." But seeing like cuz I know there's going to be some idiot out there who thinks they're going to be John Wick and want to play, do something stupid. So, I don't know. I try not to let real world get into my head sometimes, but after I watched the first one, I was just like, these movies aren't my cup of tea.
Mm.
Even though I love action, and so watching this one again, I was just like, yeah, like the first bullet when he shot Sharon right in the chest, I was just like, man, I remember why I don't like these movies. Like it just felt too real. Like it's just too easy for someone to pull a trigger now, you know. Um, so yeah, if it was just like if it was more fictional, more fantasy, I would have enjoyed this movie thoroughly.
But it's gun.
I know. But see, you know why I enjoyed The Matrix? Because in The Matrix there was a lot of like it was a lot of hitting, a lot of jumping, um, and the people that were dying, it was known that it was all like a computer program. So it just it didn't feel real, you know. Um, and then if you got a bullet in real life, then you're dead. And then all of a sudden, okay, now there's this level of, so that was okay. But this one here was just like, bro, who is cleaning up these bodies after John Wick comes through, man? Like, there's
Yeah,
just so many dead people everywhere. And I get it, you know, that's the point of the movie, but it's just yeah, it's always been tough for me to watch something like that.
I think that in some ways, it's almost a complete opposite effect for me. Where I was even writing that in some ways, um, what's been so astounding about the success of this franchise in the cinematic reality that we're in, which is where for the past 10 or 15 years or so, it's pretty much been dominated by Marvel. Um, and to me, in
A
some
little
ways,
bit.
this feels like the anti-Marvel success uh,
Yeah.
action franchise. Whereas for me, it's detached from reality enough it through different things that they've constructed and that they've displayed, like the fact that almost every other in one of the movies that you missed, there's I think it's in is it in two, Kevin, or at the end of where they like make an announcement and then like all these assassins like start to come after him.
That's at the end of two because he's running with the dog.
Yeah, 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 yeah. At the end of two,
Yeah.
so they've again created enough of a world, that you could almost even argue that it's a multiverse, or it's an alternate universe where there's all these assassins running rampant, where there's continentals in every major city in the world. And so it's detached enough from reality, and then even though they show all this gun violence and all this shooting and all this death, you never you never really see much gore or blood.
Right.
um but at the same time, it's still sort of realistic enough to just kind of grab me and really in the world, because I understand sort of the effects and the consequences a little bit better than with a Marvel movie where like the first Avengers, where they're fighting the Chitauri or
Yeah.
whatever. Dude, go back and watch that. Like, it has not aged well. And
Watch
especially
your
that
mouth.
especially that last scene where they're invading and they're fighting them, and even really throughout all those Marvel movies, like where you really never see blood or any real carnage or violence or anything like that. It's fun. It's a fun ride. It's thrilling, but it never really has any sort of real life consequences, that they build tension and drama through the characters and whatnot,
Yeah.
but is life and death and whatnot, where I think with John get that, while still not necessarily, I don't feel guilt or any of maybe some of those. You didn't say guilt, but just whatever it is that you're feeling, where it's like there is a connection in some way to reality, which I think is fair, because obviously there's so much gun violence today that we're even becoming or have become desensitized to it. But this is fantasy enough for me that I don't equate them in that same way, and maybe that's not a good thing, but I don't know. For me, it's just really enjoyable.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, but I will say it is funny that you're comparing Avengers and John Wick. Going, yeah, when I see people dying there, I don't really feel guilty. One's got one's a movie full of superheroes, and then you're comparing it to John Wick. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, but he is. I mean, even with what you brought up about the suit, I mean that even uh, paints him even more like a superhero. Like he has a suit and
Yeah.
everything that he
No,
wears.
the fact that that was explained helps a lot because Buddy was getting shot at just in broad daylight with no cover, and I'm just like, all right, yeah, he's got to have a shield on.
Yeah, but the comparison too was more because like those are what you're
No, I know.
referring
I'm just
to
busting your balls.
in contradiction to that. Um, but something cool that I experienced through going to see the movie, and part of this is because it is twofold. One is that I mean I haven't been to the movies in a while. Um, like it hasn't been ages, but it's been a little bit. I think it was some months ago that my wife and I went to see a movie on a date, but that was again months ago. And
Yeah.
it
You
wasn't a
remember what
movie that
movie
I
it
was
was?
we saw Top no, it wasn't Top Gun. No, I don't remember. I don't even remember. Oh, it wasn't man, no, it couldn't have been Encanto. That was too long ago.
No, that's
Um,
not 6 months ago, my guy.
yeah, yeah. Nah, I don't remember.
That re-release.
I don't remember.
That's
Um,
pretty funny.
but so it's been a while. So it was one, the fact that it had been a while, but then also like even the movie that we did, I don't even remember what it was. So there's no way I was as excited to see that as I was to see John Wick. So
Right.
I think the combination of both those things, like I was just really giddy. And also because this is the first of the four movies that I've actually been able to see it in theaters.
Yeah, same.
So really.
Yeah, like I bought all the John Wicks and watched them, and I never got to go see them in theater.
Oh, I thought this was like a family tradition that you always go with the girls to see the new releases of John Wick.
I wish no, like I bought them and then I watched them. I said, "Girls, come watch this," and they
Yeah.
watched it and they loved it. And then we're like, "We're you girls just like with Avatar 2." I'm like, "You have to see this on the big screen. Let's go."
And they all
Um
bought it.
but yeah, so anyway, for me it it really transported me back to younger days where I used to go to the movies more often, and whether it was on my own or with my best friends, but had that feeling at least in going to a movie a lot more often. And it does feel to me like this franchise, because even just following in movie Twitter, just how excited people were and
Hmm.
amped up like to go see this franchise. So there is, though, I believe, something about this film franchise that has recaptured and rekindled something for this type of audience, I guess, where it just had so much buzz. It has so much positivity behind it, which again, as Mark kind of pointed out, is ironic, but ultimately, like, it's fun. But I think, uh, with the fun aside, I think it's the fact that they're so well done, and so there's
Yeah.
something about the commitment, right, behind the producers and the director. The writers keep the story simple but interesting, and they keep adding things and elements that are really fun but still simple. But it's the commitment to like excellence with the visuals, with the stunt work, with the effects. This may not be a Marvel movie, but they still use CGI, although I think it is minimal compared to some of those things.
Yeah.
But there is something about that commitment of like we're not just gonna phone it in. Like they keep trying to outdo themselves and trying to top it every single time, while still maybe not venturing into the Fast and Furious 10 world of like flying cars and just diving off cliffs with cars and some of that craziness. It's still somewhat anchored in reality enough. It's a really fun combination.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Kevin, you there?
No, I'm here. I was just listening. Yeah, I was looking at the release dates for the last one. It came out the week before Juan's wedding. I was like, why didn't I see part three? I was like, oh, because I was getting ready to do
Oh,
that drive.
oh, that's a fun fact, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah. I thought it was fun. I was like, oh, that's
So, so what did you guys make of the tracker or the character played by Shamir Anderson? So there were again. Let's talk. Um, let me.
fantastic artist, by the way.
Yeah, who is that guy? I don't
I
think I've
don't
ever
know,
seen him before.
but that dude was sketching like it was on point.
Oh yeah, yeah. So there was him. There was Kane. There was so everyone loved on the internet loves Akira, who was the daughter. What was his name? Played by Sadaka. So
Koji,
Sanada.
yeah,
Um,
Koji is his last name.
yeah, but Akira was his daughter.
Yeah.
There was the Marquise, of course, played by Skarsgard. So,
Mhm.
which of these characters did you feel like were, uh, the best or that you enjoyed the most?
Kane. I loved Donnie Yen's character.
Kane. Well, to answer your first question, I really didn't know what the tracker was supposed to be, and I wasn't sure if if he was bored and he got himself into a situation by just sticking his nose in the wrong place, because I didn't know whose side he was on. So he just kind of felt out of place, but I did enjoy the scene of him getting stabbed in the hand
Yeah.
Ooh,
with a knife. I thought that was really intense,
Ooh,
and
yeah,
he
that
played
was
that
hard.
very well.
That
But
was
yeah,
I,
his character was weird.
there was that weird part where he was tracking how much money John Wick was worth, and then he's
Right.
like, John, you still got to stay alive because we're in this together, and then that just goes out the window.
Yeah, and then I felt like he was trying to kill John every other scene, but then
Huh.
like teaming up with him, the others.
Uh, I thought he was just trying to keep him alive, so the bounty became so high. Then he's like, all right, now I'll kill you.
I think
I
that's the
guess.
most reasonable explanation, but it's confusing because they didn't really give us very much and we didn't really understand his motivation. At times he seemed to be helping John Wick. He even at times seemed like similar to Willem Dafoe's character in the first one, who really was helping John Wick. He kind of seemed at times to be that like a sort of guardian angel, but then
Yeah.
clearly obviously he was then maybe trying to make money and then waiting for the right moment to assassinate John Wick. And then of course at the end that kind of turns around. Like it was just that was probably for me the only flaw in the movie was that character. I liked the actor, I liked the portrayal. I just think the writing was a little flawed with that character because, again, I don't think I'm the only one that just sort of felt confusion throughout about who exactly he was and what he was doing there.
He was only there for that dog scene because I guarantee you they have a dog scene in every movie, don't they?
Uh,
Uh, you, dude, that was an awesome scene though.
I'm trying.
When
Well, they did have it in three because that's the Halle Berry one. So yeah, they had the two dogs.
Yeah, I bet you they had dogs in two as well. So that's just a thing. And so I just laughed because I was like, oh, okay, because this all started because of a dog. I remember.
oh, okay, that's a good theory. That actually, as far as the movie makes sense, it makes no story. But as far as the movie, like, yeah, this
No,
is a
but
way to get
but
a dog in
because
there.
that's because they have a dog in every movie, so they
Right,
go,
right.
okay, this is how we could fit him in. We'll throw in a tracker, and like,
Yeah,
he's helping John Wick by playing the other side, but then he gets in too deep, and but he's still trying to they just muddy it just so he can go. I'm gonna save the dog.
yeah.
That's it.
No, that's actually. I think you're right. I never even thought about that.
A great observation.
Yeah, I think that's
uh,
spot on. The my main observation about him was that he reminded me of Kanye West with that backpack.
he was taking it back. He had a nice fit.
Um. Oh, dude, you love it. Especially Kevin is gonna love this.
Oh,
So, if you guys recall, a little amazing British movie that we reviewed called Mindhorn, where
Yes. Oh
his
no.
character, right, was an actor, and he said that the way that he got into his roles was when he put his shoes on, and he would even say like shoes are going on, and then
Yeah.
he would slip. In an interview, Keanu Reeves was asked, like how he transitions into John Wick, and he said, when he sees the suit and when he puts on the suit, but most of all was when he put the shoes on. Just like
Shoes
Michael.
are on.
Um, but something that I thought the movie did really
Shoes
well.
are on.
So something that I thought the movie did really well was probably because we just came off recently reviewing the movie You People, in which the two main characters had zero chemistry. In this one, I thought that his name was Shimazu, Hiroyuki Sanada's character.
Oh,
I was honestly impressed by, through such limited screen time in comparison to the entirety of the film. So in limited exposure that we had to them through, a relatively short amount of screen time, how successfully convinced I was of the relationship of father and daughter and their intimacy and their closeness and their relationship between Shimazu and Akira. Like, I thought that that was really well done, and I felt it when he was killed. And this is the side character that I liked best, actually.
yeah.
And like many, I do hope that the next one is actually a side story for her, then maybe avenging her dad and maybe going after Kane.
did you see the post credit?
Oh my gosh, dude. No, I didn't. I heard about it.
Oh, it's like because you're literally explaining the post credit scene right there.
I know.
Oh,
I heard
yeah.
about it. Um,
Mark, did you
I
see the post credit or no?
No.
Oh man, I had to say
I
through a
thought
lot
only
of credits.
Marvel did. I thought only Marvel did that.
This was their first one. I remember like when the credits started, I'm like, let me Google. I'm like, oh, there is a post credit. Let me watch it. So yeah, and the scene is Kane sees his daughter and he's going to her with flowers to meet her, and
Yeah.
you see the back of a hooded figure approaching him, and when it turns
Uh-huh.
around, you see it's Akira's face, and she whips out a knife and she's coming right up on him, and he doesn't see her, and then it cuts out.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, dude, that's the same thing that I thought. The credits started to roll. For a second I was like, should I stay? But it was a late screening too, so I was like, there's probably nothing. It's not a Marvel. Let me get on home. And then like the next day or whatever, sure enough, there was a post credit scene. I was like, what the heck?
I had to use the restroom.
So I took the kids to see the matinee. We were fresh.
Also,
You don't buy any drinks during the movie?
What happened?
Do you get any drinks for the movie?
Yes, we did.
All right.
I try to avoid it.
Yeah, especially if it's over 3 hours.
Dude, literally during this movie, like, it was almost at the You could tell just from the length of the time that we were in the theater, but also by what was happening on screen, that like it was reaching, the pinnacle, the climax, or like the final, and I see this poor guy running off to the bathroom. Oh my god,
Poor
man, that
bastard can't
sucks.
hold it.
Usually it's great because my mom likes to go with me, so she just takes the girls if they gotta go to the bathroom. But they held it for this one.
Held
Um,
strong. Yo, bro, I need subtitles, man. I need to read because
yeah.
the absolute. I always go back to Tenet when I saw that in theaters, and how that was just the worst, bro. I feel like I had Q-tips in my ears, and
Yeah.
like I'm just so bad now. So hearing this, I'm just going, yeah, I don't know, but I guess that was the beauty of it. It was a pretty simple story. I kind of laugh. I feel like every movie is just like a new top organization comes into the story, and then John Wick's got to beat them, and then it just moves on until he finally got to the end. Um, but it was fairly simple to follow.
Well, I mean, you provided a terrible example because Chris Nolan is notorious for his terrible audio. I mean, I think he hires high school students to engineer his audio. I remember sitting in The Dark Knight Rises, listening to Bane, going, "Is it just me?" Like,
He lets his kids do this for class projects.
yeah, he's notorious. Um,
Uh, but I
so,
always go back to that.
apparently, you guys would know more about this than me because I honestly, kung fu or martial arts movies, I've had very limited exposure. It's not a genre that I've ever really explored too much. But apparently, there's a lot of lore and sort of history and tradition with the blind swordsman or fighter, that Donnie Yen was playing. Like a well sort of known staple of the kung fu genre.
A trope.
Yes.
A trope. Yeah, I could absolutely see that, and I could see they definitely use a lot of similarities in different characters. I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Was it the one who trained Uma Thurman blind and Kill Bill?
No.
Oh, he wasn't.
Yes, yeah.
I think he
He wasn't
was.
blind.
What was his name? Like Ping Tao or something?
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
want to believe because yeah, Payway.
I don't know
No,
if
not
it
Payway.
was something like that. Um, no, I don't think he was blind.
Yeah, he was.
Like I want to believe he was blind because he was like touching her face and stuff, but I could be. I haven't seen that movie forever.
That's a good one to watch.
Okay. Um, man, it was sad to watch this, and after the death of Lance Reddick,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
unfortunate.
Yeah, the first thing we see in the movie again. Jeez. Straight to the core.
I
Yeah,
Obviously
remember.
that
I remember
wasn't that
thinking they
wasn't on
planned it.
purpose.
I remember thinking they planned it well. Got his character out of there.
ain't no spin-offs with him. Um,
That's messed up.
but I think the first time I remember seeing him was on The Wire, and I really enjoyed his character on The Wire, and really enjoyed him in John Wick. You're gonna have to watch 2 and 3. There's one of those where he gets to do some shooting himself, and it's pretty good.
Oh yeah? Look, Gun Fu himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the first, like I remember first seeing him in Lost. Like he was so creepy and awesome.
Isn't there a show coming out called The Continental? I thought.
Yeah, a prequel
Oh, okay.
about how like Winston came to be in charge of it.
It's
So
a
there you
show.
go.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a show. At least I believe it was supposed to be on HBO Max.
Spin-offs are already happening.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
there's also the ballerina with Anna de Armas happening. That takes place between 3 and 4, and John Wick's supposed to make an appearance in it.
That's right. I did hear about the ballerina. Yeah.
And so does Lance.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
So we're not done with them yet.
Yeah. Wow.
Fair enough.
One of my last notes here is that Mr. Sanada, Hiroyuki Sanada, who played Shimazu, the manager of the Osaka Continental, had one of my favorite lines in the movie, which was, "Friendship means little when it's convenient."
That was good.
Like that rings true.
I heard that Keanu only had like 385 words spoken in this movie.
Yeah, people that crap was going around, and then people were like calculating how much he got paid per word. Did you see the stunts?
Oh yeah, so that for 100% like agree that stunts should be a category in the Oscars but see, I understand why Keanu wants that to happen because this movie would win every year. A new John Wick comes out, okay, they're automatically gonna win. I mean, those fight scenes, bro, they were so long and they were just like some of them felt like such continuous shots. I'm like, yo, how many takes did this happen? Like the practice that you got to go through every day just for one scene. All the choreographing that needs to go into it, like it's insane.
I think Mr. Tom Cruise might have something to say about that.
Yeah, but his aren't as long.
Yeah,
these were long, bro.
Like his were good, but he's in a cockpit of a jet. John Wick is just running around flinging everyone into everything.
Oh yeah, he's just flying a jet.
He's just flying a jet. Come on, who hasn't done that?
He's just hanging off the side of an airplane.
Yeah, he's 0 to 60. This John Wick is like foreplay.
It's just different styles. I mean, one's fighting, the other one is hanging out the side of a building, in Dubai.
Oh wow, he's just hanging. He's just hanging.
It's pretty crazy.
I'm being facetious, of course.
He's just hanging.
That's the end of my notes. I've got fun facts, but what else do you guys have before we move on to those?
One part that I was confused at first, but then I ended up thinking it was a really beautiful scene, was when they were deciding what the duel was gonna be when they went to that table, and they had all these like cards. It wasn't cards or like little tablets in front of them, and they're just flipping stuff. I'm like, are they just playing high card?
That's what I thought.
And then it ended up being that, but like I just thought everything was so peaceful, like that little area. I'm like, oh, this is a nice little like breather scene. But it looked really pretty.
They do things very gentlemanly.
Yeah, I was perhaps for a little bit there, somewhat confused too, even just not knowing what the duel was going to be, because certainly there's no way that Marquis character stood a chance going up against John Wick in anything. Which there was a twist to that, but yeah, no, it played out nicely. Do you remember the character of the Harbinger?
Clancy Brown.
Oh man, you recognize? What else do you recognize him from, or what do you know him from?
I remember him from Pineapple Express, where he yells out, "Drugs are illegal."
Nah, that's not him.
That's him.
No, that's not him. You're thinking of the guy from he was in Django Unchained. I forget that actor's name.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah.
Well, Clancy's a lot of things, but the first thing I always pop to is he's in Lost season 2. He's the guy in the hatch. When Desmond comes in, like this is the guy who was training Desmond about the hatch. So that's where my mind always goes when I see him.
Oh, okay. I do not remember that.
You're thinking of James Remar.
Oh, maybe
that's that guy's name.
You bet he is.
But this guy, Clancy Brown, it took me a while because he looked so different in the movie and he was wearing a hat. Yeah. But he plays the most famous thing that I know him from is the Shawshank Redemption. Yeah. And he plays the guard that's a real tough guy in the prison, the main guard.
Never seen that.
What?
I've never seen it. I wish I had that. I wasn't prepared for that one. Dang.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Dang.
There it is. There it is. Hey, mine was pretty good.
Well, one more chance. You guys got anything else?
I think that was it.
No, that was good. I couldn't remember his character's name. Obviously, I saw it in IMDb, but the Harbinger was my most the most interesting character for me. Also, I noticed that he was missing a finger like John Wick, so I didn't know what that meant because obviously I didn't see the other movies, but I felt like there was some connection there because of that.
Interesting. I didn't notice the finger.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Oh, really? Yeah, they both had the same missing ring finger.
Oof. Like I had forgotten that John had cut off his finger. I was like, "Why is his finger missing?" And Phoenix was like, "Oh, remember he cut it off in the last." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, so he cut it off. Huh, interesting.
Yeah. I forgot why. Because he had to give the ring up, but you couldn't just take the ring off. You had to cut the finger. It was a whole to do. If Phoenix was awake, I'll let her explain it to you. But
Maybe the Harbinger was doing the same thing. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I thought that was interesting. But again, something that would require me to watch the other movies.
Yeah.
that's what I also was going to tell you. He's also the main bad guy in the first Highlander movie.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy who says it's better to burn out than fade away.
That might be his most known role, huh?
Should be.
All right, Kevin, cue it up.
Put on to.
My body is ready.
Thank you. All right. Fun fact number 1. Keanu Reeves went through 12 weeks of training in martial arts and stunt driving to do as many of the action sequences himself. Noting that, I did want to mention that I thought the nunchucks were a great addition.
Yes.
Enjoyed that. Impressed
They
by
were real quick, right? It was a quick scene, right?
Quickish.
He kept
Yeah,
using them.
he
Yeah.
fought
Okay.
a fair amount with them.
Got you.
He didn't seem to have the fastest technique that I've ever seen, but impressive nonetheless. I mean,
It's efficient. Yeah, efficient.
Keanu Reeves accidentally cut a gentleman's head open while making the movie. I also
Big yikes.
I heard something about that he made shirts for all the stunt guys that had the number on it of like how many times died in the movie.
Yeah.
And then the guy with the slashed head got a T-shirt.
I hope he got more than that.
How many times my head was sliced open by Keanu Reeves?
But
he got a fedora.
Somebody made a comment because he likes to give presents to people on the set. That's what he did this movie. The last movie, he gave all the stunt people like Rolexes.
I saw a picture of that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty dope.
Another one. In case you guys are not up on your J-pop, Rina Sawayama, who played Akira, is a pop star of Japanese and British descent.
And it was for her first movie.
Yeah. Impressive.
All right.
All right. According to director Chad Stahelski, the inspiration for the top-down action scene featuring the Dragon's Breath shotgun, that's what it was called, Dragon's Breath, was from a video game called Hong Kong Massacre that was released in 2019.
Yeah.
What system is that for? PlayStation?
No, I think that's PC.
Oh, okay. Surprised that none of you guys mentioned this, especially Kevin.
Oh,
But
dang.
the DJ, the DJ in Paris, which actually was something that I really enjoyed, even though it looked like they were DJing from the Eiffel Tower, which I don't think is real. But
Pretty
the
amazing.
puts out the call to stop John Wick from reaching the church for the duel is a direct homage to Walter Hill's The Warriors, in
Oh,
which a DJ puts out a call to all gangs in New York to stop the Warriors from reaching Coney Island. The,
Yeah.
par- the parallels to that movie include the DJ being filmed as a close up of just her mouth and the microphone, the DJ referring to the listeners as boppers. After the DJ's first announcement to stop Wick, she plays the song Nowhere to Run. And then the DJ giving running updates to the boppers about the failure to stop Wick's progress. All in homage to the Warriors.
it's funny because until you mentioned it, like I didn't even remember that the DJ did that in that movie. Like I remember scenes from that
Correct.
movie. I don't
Yeah.
remember that at all. Now that you mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah, that did
It
happen.
all came yeah, exactly. It all came flooding back, and now I'm playing the Warriors in my head, going, "Yep, yep, yep."
Yeah, I'm watching those. Oh, who are the baseball guys just running? I'm just picturing them run.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
That's a fun one.
the video game came out on Switch, PlayStation 4, Windows, Linux, and classic Mac.
At least I was right saying PC.
Yeah, you're on it.
um, the and music is a big thing in the franchise, throughout different sequences, but that's partly that's actually one of the big reasons. There are many reasons, but one of them is because even though this one and John Wick 4 with the DJ and the music was excellent, for me none of the movies have topped the club scene in the first one with the song Think by Khalida. It was perfection. And
Work of art.
they haven't been able to defeat that one. It stays undefeated. All right, moving on. The Marquis is shot in the head by John after arrogantly failing to realize that John never fired his third round at Kane. Interestingly, this continues a pattern of John defeating the main antagonist with a headshot in the even numbered entries of the series and lethally stabbing the villains in the odd numbered ones.
All right, noted.
Dude, someone really did their research to uncover that.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Like this is the even ones, like the other even one. That's it.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So that's interesting. And then
That one's fun. That was a fun one.
last but not least, you might think that Keanu Reeves is really deserving of that non-existent stunt Oscar after you learn that in real life he's actually left-handed.
Oh, my boy.
Say what?
Ah, man, that is impressive.
And the character of John Wick is ambidextrous, but he does all his shooting and everything with his right hand.
Really
Well, I'll be
Yeah.
damned.
interesting. Wow,
Huh?
dude,
Yeah.
I can't. That's impressive. I can't even write my name with my right hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to practice doing things all week with my left hand.
Oh, go for it.
You won't make it 10 minutes, man. How much writing do you do in a week?
A lot for work, but
Yeah.
it's going to be rough.
All
Yeah,
right.
the school system's still in the paper days.
Well, those are my fun facts for.
Those are good. Those are fun.
The kids enjoyed it.
Thank you. And now we can move to the ratings portion of our episode. Want to remind our listeners, especially those who are more recent to the podcast, that we rate our films on a 1 to 5 Little Jerry's scale. If you don't know what Little Jerry is, you're going to have to listen to all of our episodes to uncover it.
Yeah, make me
It's
do the
somewhere.
work.
We did reveal it once. So that'll be a fun little adventure for you to figure that out. But 1 to 5, 1 being atrocious, 5 being spectacular. Kevin, hit us with your rating.
I loved it. I took my kids to see it. If I had enough money, I'd take them to go see it again. We're gonna watch it again. I tell everyone they should watch it. So that is going to be a good little five from Kevin.
Kevin, have you ever considered buying a trench coat?
I own a trench coat.
Bam, bro. That's 1 ticket for the
At
price
least 3 of them.
Okay, listen. For I don't care who's listening. I don't pay for Willow when I go to this one theater that we always go to because they never check my electronic tickets, and she doesn't sit in her own chair. She sits on my lap the whole time, or she sits with Scott in their chair. So
That's fair.
I don't buy
Yeah.
enough tickets. I'm always waiting for someone to say, "Oh, what about her?" I'm like, "Run, kids." But I'm not gonna pay for a seat. I used to pay for her seat, and she would never stay in her seat. And I'm like, I'm not paying for a ticket for you.
Makes sense.
So yeah.
So I'll go next then. This being my second entry into the four movie series, I enjoyed it for what it was. I was a little confused on some story things. Obviously, didn't know who characters were, but I was still able to pick on some things that apparently you guys weren't able to. So it's enough to make me go see the second and third one, but I was quickly reminded why I didn't get into the series. Like the action's just not for me. But keeping that out of the review because that's just my preference. This is a 5 as well for me. It was fantastic from beginning to end. Every single gunfight was just incredible.
Yeah. And Kevin, that was a 5 for you as well?
That was a 5 for me.
Okay. All right, very good. Yeah, it is man, I thought of something while one of you guys was talking, but I can't remember it now. Yeah, it's gonna be a 5 for me as well. And
You
it's just it's almost, everything that you could ask for from a movie like this. It is and again aided by Keanu Reeves, who is awesome. But it was fun. It was exciting. It was entertaining. Enjoyed all the new characters. Enjoyed the arc. Hoping that this is closure for John Wick. It doesn't need any more. Even if there were no side stories, even if there were no the Continental or Barbarella. What'd you say that was called? The ballerina.
The ballerina.
Even if there was none of that and it was just these 4 films, it would be perfect. It doesn't need any more. To expand it, whatever. We'll see how that goes. But this is a great series, a great franchise. Again, for those at home keeping score, my ranking is 1 is 1, 4 is 2, 3 is 3, and 2 is 4. And that's how it will remain. Yeah, 5 out of 5. Can't wait to see this again at some point. I'm sure there are haters out there that don't understand why these movies are so enjoyable, but the masses and the critics, really, at this point, based off of Rotten Tomatoes,
Which is
agree.
surprising.
Right, right. So 5 out of 5 for us, and I applaud everyone involved for a job well done.
Kudos. Oh, that was nice. Good job.
So great job, lads. We will be back again with another episode, another film, another review, and more surprises, more laughter, more insights. Mark, why don't you tell the people how they can? Well, I guess if they're listening to this, they already know how to find us. But
Well, you can find us right here. Congratulations. You made
you did it. Good job.
it. We're also on YouTube. We're on Instagram. Um, we are
Twitter.
on Twitter. It's like we like movies underscore between words. It's a lot. Sorry, I don't remember that part.
Click on the
But
links.
I feel like Instagram's the easiest to get to.
Yeah, yeah. There'll be links in the description. Please, yeah, if you enjoy listening to us, wherever you are, let us know. Share, we appreciate that. Definitely subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Set those alerts so that you can know as soon as we release. But yeah, like us, friend us, share us, rate us.
Twin us.
Yeah. We're desperate for attention and desperate for your love.
We
So
thirsty.
don't withhold it from us. Kevin, any last words?
Um, Go check out the website. Juan works so hard on it. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of work. Y'all should watch it.
Hey.
Yeah, and we've been, I've been posting some additional content on there. Hopefully, we'll get these guys doing that as well whenever they're free. They're busy. We have busy lives, but we like doing this, so we make the time for this. But some additional articles on there and more. So, yeah, definitely check it out. That one is
Here we go.
we like movies org.wordpress.com. Nailed it.
Got it. That's right.
Excellent. All right. See you chaps next time. Later, haters.
Love
Love
you.
you.